I get
Your name's
lazy,
not
but if I
there.
visualize it, I go, uh-oh, better catch up. That's okay.
Okay, so, Laura, her name was not in the batch. Drew Ken. Do you need a water bottle, Ken?
Yeah, 'cause I stole my wife.
Well, no, there's no excuses.
She might want the lavender. We apologize, it is lavender.
Sorry, I didn't really.
But real men can wear
I have
lavender.
enough water. I have
Absolutely.
too many.
So now you have no excuses, Ken. We want to see you with, Barb and I brought our waters.
Mhm.
So anyways, we're gonna get started this morning or this evening. Woo. If it's morning, I'm in trouble. So, Barb,
Okay, so first of all, I'm gonna say, a lot of this may seem like it's a repeat, but we're trying to instill these new lifestyle patterns in you. You have to keep changing your old ones. You've had those old habits for a long time, so it's gonna take time to change to the new ones. So we're creating a lifestyle nutrition, okay? Intentional positive choices restore your brain and body. Intentional choices. Brain connections. Eating a high fructose or really high sugar diet over the long term alters your brain's ability to learn and remember information. It really does. Our study, and there's a study that shows that a high fructose or high sugar diet harms the brain as well as the body. It's not just our teeth or different things. A healthy stomach is essential for optimal mental and physical health. Isn't that interesting? But you need to have a healthy stomach. Remember, we are a holistic individual. It's not just bits of it, we are whole. Menus, do's and don'ts. Foods high in saturated fat promote inflammation of the stomach lining, as do alcohol, hot, spicy food. Now, I do kind of like some spicy food. I'll be honest. High sodium and caffeine. Anything with the "ing" sound is generally a drug. Caffeine, nicotine, morphine.
so I have to stop you real quick.
Yes.
I have to chuckle. Marsala and her husband was making smoothies, but you guess what they throw in their smoothie?
Cayenne pepper.
That's okay, that's would be okay, yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. She's like, is that okay? Yeah, if it works for you, I don't
I
think it would
never
work
thought
for
of
me.
it, but if it's a taco night, why not?
I think jalapenos are okay.
Yeah. So the gut-brain connection is no joke. And this is true. There is a connection that goes both ways. A troubled intestine can send signals to the brain, just as a troubled brain can send signals to the gut.
And it's interesting because you know about your brain that's in your head, but they say that your gut is your second brain. It has the same neurological functioning in your gut as your brain.
Right.
So it can affect you as if things aren't right here, it affects your brain.
Positive nutrition. Eat more of the good stuff, and we've talked about that. The fresh fruits, absolutely, the dark fruits. The beans, and you'll see all those different beans, vegetables, the dark fruit. You know, explore your grocery store. Whole grains, great fiber.
So next on that, so she just got through with the nutrition part.
Oh, you know what, Cindy, I was gonna ask you. I know, we have to shoot from the hip. Because in my notes, it talks about choosing healthy fats such as walnuts, other nuts, olives, ground flaxseed, olive oil, you know, whatever for salads. And it talks about trying to avoid that fried food. But it did talk about avoid fried food and high-fat cheese. Is there a lower-fat cheese that would be okay, like cottage cheese? I just thought I'd throw that out, because that said that, low-fat cheese.
That's an option for sure. The healthy fats, there really are healthy fats.
Like avocado.
That's a very good one. And your nuts, obviously, you're gonna just eat it in moderation. I think God even put a natural gag into us. If you eat too much, you kind of can get a little sick. So yeah, moderate. Flaxseed oil, that is a really healthy. Olives, they're really good. It's like and walnuts, those, I see them all listed there. You want to stay, and they mentioned canola oil in
I
this.
was kind of surprised with that.
Yeah, yeah, you want to stay away from your vegetable oils other than olive oil, because the way they process them. So yeah, there are some lower fat, and cottage cheese would be one of them.
Okay, go ahead, we're talking about exercise.
So exercise goes to your head. Exercise is so good for your health in your brain, and it improves your mood. It lowers your stress. It improves memory and enhances learning and increases energy. And I don't know about you, but I need help with all of that. So exercise, sometimes I can hit this 3 or 4 times and it won't do anything. It has a mind of its own. It lights a fire on every level of your brain, from stoking up the neurons' metabolic forces to forging the structures that transmit information between cells. So that is definitely, as we get older, we really need exercise to keep our brains going, functioning. In summary, eat for strength, not nervous stimulation. I want to take just a minute and talk about nervous stimulation. Our society is such a high pace that we are just on the go. And we're so used to being on the go that we don't know what to do when we have quiet time. We're uncomfortable with quiet time. But God did not make us to be on this roller coaster ride all the time. And by doing all of these stimulants, caffeine, whoops, I think I might be losing myself. By doing a lot of these stimulants, that keeps us on this roller coaster, and it makes it so you don't sleep as well at night. You know, you struggle, and your digestion, it needs to have that calm time and not have caffeine, because it's getting, your digestion is working on high speed and it needs to slow down. So it makes you, if you notice that your hands are shaking, there's a reason for that. Eat for strength, not for nervous stimulation. Exercise. Move it and improve it. The more you exercise, the easier it will get. And I'm here to tell you, man, when I first started, I was dragging, but it's getting a whole lot easier. And now I've got my friend Laura is starting to exercise, right, Missy? Uh-huh.
Yeah, my legs are, yeah.
You see how we have to talk positive?
Yes.
And practice makes permanent. We need to remember, the more we practice doing these things, the more they can become a part of you. And that's what we're trying to create. We're replacing bad habits with good habits.
I like this. HALT. HALT is going to stand for something. Avoid being overly hungry. And you want to avoid that by if you eat the wrong type of food, you will feel like you need to eat something else. So try to get healthy snacks. So part of HALT is hungry, anxious. You might start feeling anxious. How do you overcome that? Anxiety can be a big thing. Get out and get some walking, contact somebody, do some self-talking to yourself, but that will help. And then there is being lonely. Sometimes we're triggered, with these different things and we're lonely. And that's okay, we all get lonely, but reach out to somebody. Sometimes if you help somebody else, it will make you feel so much better reaching out and helping others. So try not to be lonely. And then tired. We all get tired, don't we? There's nothing wrong with it. So if you feel tired, go ahead and take a nap. Take a power nap. That's good to do. I'm not one of these people that can't really. So sometimes I'll just kind of rest quietly. My dad, he could lay down, come in from the field. I remember as a kid, lay across, his feet would be in the dining room, his head was on the carpet in the dining room, his feet in the kitchen. He'd take this power nap, 10, 15 minutes, and boom, wake up. I wish I could, I cannot. But try to rest then if you do feel tired. It's good for you.
Well, I don't know about you, but if I get tired, I get cranky. And that's not good. We don't want you to be that kind of person. So Journey to Freedom, it's about taking care of your brain, and the brain is where you make your decisions. And as you're setting up these new activities to overcome your triggers, you want your brain sharp. So every positive choice counts. Even if you're not doing a lot of positive, if you're doing just a couple of positive things, celebrate those, okay? Don't beat it's a thing. Us humans, we like to hone in on the negative. You could have a whole day and do 99% of what you do in a day, be good, be positive, be successful, but one thing doesn't go right, what are you going to hone in on?
on that negative.
That one negative. No, what we want you to do is focus on the things that you are doing right and celebrate those, okay?
Right.
God is strengthening your will. Every time you make something positive, making a choice in a positive direction, God is helping you through that and will strengthen your will. Better choices makes a better you. So Matthew 19:26 says, with men, this is impossible. But with God, all things are possible.
That's right.
You know, we talk a lot about all of these different things, but the most important that's really going to help you is the God element. Going to the trust in divine power. He gives you, and you can read this little thing, it leads to inner peace and stability, gives power to forgive, brings love into your home, helps heal unsolved problems. God is really the source for your help. Don't discredit that element.
Right. So what are your thoughts? And so we're gonna kind of direct this to you guys. I'm gonna kind of say it a little different. What positive nutrition choices will become, or that you have implemented in your daily habits now? Have you implemented any of these? Have you made any little changes in your nutritional?
Anybody?
Come on, I know you have.
I've been eating a little
Come on.
more, like, instead of just eating at night, I'll try to eat more throughout the day.
That's
Wonderful.
real good, right?
That's excellent.
Because when we eat late at night, number one, you can gain weight. Number two, it really keeps your body working hard. It hasn't had a chance, right?
But especially for you, Janelle, we gotta put a little meat on your bones.
I know, right?
That's wonderful.
Also, I think Tim has implemented something where I heard through a grapevine that you're making fruits, like smoothies.
That greenhouse.
You know? So when you guys have gone to the grocery store, have you looked at things a little differently?
Yeah.
You know, and Cindy mentions that, she'll probably, I'm gonna steal her thunder, because I like this. I know. She talked about, like I was reading, when you go to the grocery store, really explore your produce area, but this makes sense. She said, when you're in a grocery store, you really need to kind of try to shop on the perimeters, because inside is all the Doritos and the Ruffles, and I'm not saying, you know, but, you know, we have to try to move toward more of the whole foods. But if you shop on the outside, you're not, you know, gonna grab the bars, the bags, and so, anybody else have anything that they maybe have started in their life? Yes.
Maricela.
The veggies, I mean, I had a hard time with my grandchildren. Now instead of buying the chips, buying the seeds,
Yeah.
you know, all of that,
Yes.
I cut up cucumbers, I cut up,
Yeah.
you know, broccoli, cauliflower, you
Mhm.
know.
Wonderful.
Apples.
Yes.
That's given us a lot of apples. I slice all of that up, you know.
Wow.
You know,
And I'm gonna ask, I think it's the next question for Cindy in this, but these type of things that you're doing, has it helped with any of your urges for nicotine?
Awesome.
Good.
Wow. That's
Do you feel like
exciting.
it's cleansed you a little bit?
oh, yes, yes.
It's about
Yeah,
nutrition,
I was telling
exercise.
April, when we were on the way over here Saturday, my husband works with the Amish.
Yeah.
They were butchering some pigs, and we went over, and, his boss is smoking. And he had a cigarette, and he's like, "You want one, Mike?" And I said, "No, thank you." And he's like, "What? You just finished smoking?" And I said, "No, I quit on the 17th.
Do they call you Mike?
Marty?
Okay. And so they were asking you if you
Good
wanted
for
a
you.
cigarette.
Good
Yeah.
answer.
I said no. And, you know, like I told her, I said, in a minute, he kind of like made me feel bad because he says, "Well, how long is that gonna last?"
Ah.
It's happened before, you know?
Right?
So I said, you know what, this time I've got it. I got
Yes.
the Lord in me, He's the
That's
one who's
right.
keeping me straight. I have no urges,
Yes.
and as long as Satan stays away,
Right.
I'll be good.
Yeah.
That's what
You're
So
an
she looked at
inspiration
me
for
and she's like,
everyone. Yeah.
I love
I
it.
said, well, I mean, in the shoe piece.
I love it. You know,
I'm a very outspoken woman, and I know sometimes they don't like that.
I love it.
But
wonderful.
I have to say what I gotta say sometimes, you know?
Yeah.
Because if
Absolutely.
it's gonna help me on the long run to keep my mind off that cigarette,
Yes.
to keep my mind off, you know, what I used to do and everything, and not fall back to it, then I know I'm in the right track.
Yes.
Right.
I know.
I love it. Yes.
Of course, I've been in kind of the Whole Foods for a while, but what I've been trying to do right now, we had a lot of people over, my husband needs medical care, and Beth and I were talking about eating more healthy, so I've had to do a lot of cooking, and my kitchen is a mess. And I chose not to worry about it.
Yep.
I put first things first, and when you think vegetarian, you're thinking of eating like fruit and veggies, and so you're starving. Well, what I made sure is, 'cause I gave it to my mom and dad, mom's not, I made sure to cook up some more rice and squash and potatoes, even though I'm allergic to milk people. You gotta have those complex carbs in the fridge that you can just grab and eat, so you can eat a full meal. I mean, I ate a lot. I had a big thing of rice, a bunch of lentils, a huge plate, so then I'm not hungry for 5 hours.
Right.
But that's the commitment that I made, is I always have before, I'm gonna make sure that that's in the fridge. We ate it up, so I go think the next day.
I love it.
But, if you don't have it there,
Yeah,
we're trying to feed ourselves on 50 cents a meal. If you don't have it, because my husband they were given 100 pounds of flour, we're making homemade bread. Got it. So then you go to all these and get brown rice for $1 something for 2 pounds. So if you have it cooked up, somebody always gives us beans. It's in the fridge, you're gonna eat it.
absolutely. And we will get into that in more depth, but you're nailing it on the head, April. You've got to plan ahead. We're
Right.
going to talk about that. Mike, you had your hand up.
Just for the benefit of these three ladies, can you say again what is in the smoothie?
Oh, the smoothie has spinach, frozen banana, frozen mango, pomegranate juice, a kiwi, an apple, flaxseed, a little bit, not much, but a little bit of maple syrup and water.
It was yummy.
It's easy. So you know that song, I got the music in me, I got Jesus in me. That's your song. I
That's
got
right.
Jesus in me. You say that when you start getting Marcella, when you start getting somebody picking on you, you sing that song. And you put Jesus in place of the music.
That's right.
Anybody else? Any things that you've been, yes, David?
Eating even good food, if you eat the same thing all the time, it gets boring and it gets tiring. So I've just gone from tasting different kinds of apples, and I'm amazed when you go from one to another, you forget the taste of the first one, and it can taste just as, each one really tastes good the first time, and then a little less. If you go variety,
Yes, that's good.
you keep going.
That's excellent. And guess what? When you quit smoking, your taste buds are gonna really pop that out.
Yeah,
Great.
that's right.
Oop, get back on,
Uh-oh,
get
did I
back
do
on
it?
schedule.
Okay. Well, while she's doing that, I will kind of mention, I feel like I'm falling apart. I worked as an ER nurse for a long time. I'm not gonna say how long now. But the go-to when you work in the ER, you start super early, like you have to be there 5:45. They had a pot of coffee, and the medics would come in or whoever. Somebody always had donuts.
Mhm.
The cops, they had donuts, sweet rolls. So, I mean, I worked there for a long time, so it was our norm, have a cup of coffee and you're having a donut. So this is like, say, 6:30 in the morning. By 9 to 10 o'clock, I would feel the shakes. And I'm like, what is going on with me? I mean, I remember one time I had to get some orange juice and pour sugar in it. Because, you do that a lot of times with diabetics, if they come in, their sugars really drop. Well, silly me, I needed to have a protein and a carb, a healthy combination. But what was I taking? I was just having all sugar the first thing in the morning. And then what happens when that sugar wears out? You hit hard,
Mhm.
And when I changed, and I'm going to admit this, I'm ashamed to say this. I learned that on the Today Show one morning. And they were talking about that, taking a carb with a protein and to have that, to eliminate that sugar high. My whole diet changed. And then I started it with the other nurses there. Then I started it with the doctors there, with our days. But it improved, it really did. So I just thought I'd throw that out, many of you.
Absolutely. So the next question is, have any of you successfully pressed through smoking a cigarette urge or a nicotine urge? So Marcella, you probably have.
I know.
So what What is it that has helped you go through those urges?
I'm fixing to go to Texas. I'm gonna go through a court. I'm fighting custody for my grandson,
Okay.
and, I want to adopt him. You know, not just, have him as my grandson, I want to adopt him. So my goal is I need to be longer. He's only
Yes.
14,
Yes.
if I continue smoking, how many more years is he gonna enjoy it?
Right?
I want to still be there till, like I told him, I want to see you walk down 2 aisles. That is the graduating aisle and your way.
You bet. Yep, you bet.
You got a good goal.
Absolutely.
Right.
So since you've quit, are you getting any triggers? You have any cravings? Now, I know, it's been a while since you've had a cigarette. Are you getting those still ever?
No, at first the headaches were terrible.
You did have that
The
withdrawal.
headaches,
Uh-huh.
the nausea. I felt very nauseated, I wanted something, to supplement that nicotine,
Mhm.
I would see people with the vapes, and that was the first thing that would come to my mind.
Mhm.
Maybe I should get me a vape, maybe I should get me this, maybe I should get me that.
And those are worse.
Mhm.
Yeah, exactly.
I
So
know.
my grandson kept telling me, what was the use of you smoking? You might as well just go buy a pack,
I love your
you
grandson.
know? So,
How old is your grandson?
Lionel.
How old is your grandson?
he's 21.
21.
We need to get him here to speak.
Yeah.
That's right.
I love it. Oh, he's worse than me. He's very outspoken.
So now, Tim, I'm picking on Tim a lot tonight because I like him like this. Tim, you said you've cut out like 5 cigarettes.
Wonderful.
So when you
Yeah.
cut those cigarettes out during those certain times, you're getting it triggered probably.
It'd be like a workout break. And before I'd be like a chimney, just how many can I
Yeah.
smoke in my break, but now I smoke one on my break rather than, 2, 3.
Wonderful.
And so are you fighting like that craving during that
I was about to
time?
say, actually, I almost feel better because I'm just get relaxed on my break. You know what I mean? Like, and just, you know what I'm saying?
I
But,
didn't know if you were
I mean,
doing something special. Are you increasing your water?
Yes. Before I was drinking no water.
Oh,
Before I
I'm
was
so
drinking no
glad.
water.
You were a clogged up
Yes.
drain with smoking all that and no
caffeine.
water. Listen
Just
to me.
caffeine all day and, yeah.
Yeah, you were living on nervous energy.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely, they
I'll
make
do at least
you
4
more.
of these a day.
Are you serious? Wow, right there. Boom, boom, boom. That is a good plus.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yep, pat yourself on the back.
Yeah, that's great.
That is
Okay.
good news. And Jerry's not here tonight, but Jerry, last Monday night, he threw his pack of cigarettes in his car away. He came in at the end of the class and he beelined it through the garbage and he threw a whole pack of cigarettes away because that's when he smokes, is when he drives. And he can smoke a lot while he's driving. And then since then, he's only smoked 1 cigarette a day instead of a whole pack a day.
Mm.
Now, he hasn't come up with his quit date yet, but once the quit date is marked down, then we're saying you need to throw it all away. So, does anybody have their quit date? Of course, Maricela, you're already on the road. Aren't we envious of you?
Mhm.
So does anybody else have a quit date scheduled yet?
Everybody keeps their head down, but that's okay. No judgment here.
So, oh, I keep
Sure.
doing that. Jesse says, you gotta fix that, Mom. I know.
It's your
Okay.
Triggered finger, okay.
So,
We say a quit date for the other habits. I decided it had to be right now to exercise.
yes.
Because I already made 2 weeks, it had to be this.
Mm-hmm.
I had to do 5 times a week, at least 20 minutes. I know that's not enough. But look up, a half an hour is what you really need to do, at least.
I think
20
that's pretty
minutes.
good.
But, my grandkids and stuff, I said I want to do 20, so.
Yep.
But today I got 30 in, but I guess the point I'm trying to say is sometimes if you don't want to just make excuses, you have to say it's now. For me, I had to say it's now, because I already played all the other little games.
And I like it that, you started in a reasonable, something that you could do. That's really what we want you to take something that you can do and then work up to the
You
30
didn't set
minutes.
yourself up for
Well, I
failure.
mean, I could
right?
exercise all day, like people say, I run here and there. That is not that 20, 30 minutes. It doesn't do a thing for me, and I already made those 2 excuses.
Yeah.
So I said, I have to get out
Yep.
and do the well, look at my watch, and I'm panting for at least 20 minutes.
Panting for the-
And not just, oh, well, I went running back and forth and made a bed,
No, yeah,
I mean, that's good, you're supposed to do that every hour, that's another kind.
Mhm.
But I need that card, my feet hurt at night when I went to bed, and I'm young, I'm only 60, my feet hurt, I'll tell 'em.
We need to get one of those three. You need to get cardio, weight training, or stretching.
Mhm.
And it needs to be 30 to 60 minutes a day. So for those of us that are not big athletes.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Someone is asking, do you have any tips when you want to quit smoking, but everyone else in your home is a smoker and they aren't ready to quit yet?
That is a very good question.
That's pretty much what we're giving all these tips tonight, but I'm gonna discuss kind of that in the next section about your
Okay.
environment.
Okay.
No, that is a real problem, and you have to be, right? You have to really be determined, let your family know what they're going to be expecting.
Mhm.
You've got to have a good support system, and if your family isn't going to be your support system, you bring your best friend, right, Ken?
Yeah, that's probably the hardest environment right there. Sure.
You're gonna have to seek maybe some outside help. And, church is always a good place. A lot of church people are health-minded. So coming to like a prayer meeting or a Bible study, you'll get good people. And don't be afraid to share with people, I am quitting smoking. I am quitting smoking and I need support.
Okay.
Well, here's a question, I don't know who this person is. Will the people, there's a difference, if the people around you will respect that, no smoke outside or whatever. But if you're in an environment where they're like, I don't care, I'm still gonna keep you around with smoke, that's gonna be even harder.
Mhm.
So, that's another question I ask, is this person, is the people around them gonna support them and, or not, I don't know.
Yeah, asking if they would, in the family, at least try to smoke
Especially-
outside.
If they don't own the home, they're not gonna have much say,
Mhm.
to be honest,
True
Yeah.
that.
for sure.
Thank you.
Okay,
Yes, you are welcome. Okay.
so keys to living free, we've kind of discussed this, but we're gonna go over it. So, successful weight and habit control, new choices, new you. All right. So, creating the environment, the internal mindset is what you're thinking about. You need to be positive that you can do this. And I want to put this out there. We talk about asking God to help you and give you strength, but we need to remember we have to do our part when we ask God to help us. It's kind of like, oh, God, help save me. I'm going to jump off this cliff right now. Well, that's not going to work. I doubt if he's going to stop you from falling, because we've chosen. So we have to have a good mindset, a positive mindset of what we're doing, and say to yourself all over a lot, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. If you say that over and over, I'm going to tell you that positiveness can help you be positive. That is a positive statement. And then we have the external surroundings. So we've talked about like changing things up, changing your routines, changing your furniture. And you also have to change maybe who you hang with.
Yeah, that kind of goes with your question on
It
friends.
has a lot to do. I used to tell my kids, you become who you hang with. You become who you hang with. No matter how good they are, you may have somebody that you hang with that you think you're going to help them to quit doing drugs or quit doing or smoking. You got to remember, when you're trying to quit, you are vulnerable. You could set yourself up for failure when you're trying to help someone else. You can give them the information, and you can tell them, you know what, you smoke and I want you to quit, but I need to kind of back away a little bit because it could help me to backslide. You have to, you want to help others, but you have to take care of yourself because you are vulnerable right now. It's so easy to start back up because nicotine has the ropes around you and it's the hardest drug to get rid of.
Mhm.
Ask any doctor. It is the hardest one. I don't care what anybody says. It's harder than opiates. It's harder than heroin. It is harder than caffeine. All that nicotine. And remember, our society, it's legal.
Mhm.
So then we feel comfortable because it is legal.
Yep.
So those are, so we're talking about that lifestyle. I think this is my, oh. Also, so you're gonna also, besides your environments and your internal and external, remember again, we're beating this into you guys. Healthy food choices will help you enjoy your best possible physical and mental and spirituality. When you start eliminating all those high sugar things and those high sugar drinks, especially those monster drinks. Let me tell you, I had a guy come in the ER. He had a monster drink for the first time. He was a foreigner, never had that stuff in their country. He had a massive seizure. He was at work. I'm not saying you can have it all the time, but his body was not used to that. So watch what you're doing. So eat for strength. Remember this. Treat your body. It is a magnificent machine. So care for yourself. Eat foods that nourish you, okay? When you look at the stuff, I mean, we all kind of want junk. Okay, come on, we all do. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not perfect. But don't make that your norm. And right now, really trying to eliminate it because you're trying to back away from it, okay? Your body is God's temple. And the Bible says that, you know, He made us. And so we want to keep it pure for Him. Enjoy fresh fruit and cooked vegetables, beans, and whole grains.
Now, they said cooked, but you can eat raw vegetables. Actually, raw vegetables are better for you than cooked. But if you cook your vegetables, just steam them. Don't cook them to death so they're all limp. Just, you know, make them so that they're maybe even still a little crunchy.
And you know, I'm gonna throw this out. It's not in our program. Cindy might beat me. Some of you, you know, you're gonna still be eating meat. It's a big, hard transition. But try to eat healthy meats at least, grass-fed, or try to eat leaner ones, or cut them down or decrease your portion. You know, it's hard to completely sometimes. Some people can, but if it's hard, try to control that meat eating. Because it is an inflammation marker.
And she says this because we are actually promoting whole food plant-based, which means no meat, no dairy, blah, blah, blah. But I'm not asking that of you guys.
No.
You are doing something different. You are getting off of nicotine, so.
But try to eat these healthy foods, no matter if it's, you know, leaner meat, healthier cheeses, you know, just remember that.
Fish is a real good one for your heart,
Yes, it has a lot of good, especially,
especially
you know,
salmon.
salmon.
Wild caught.
and get the
Yeah, wild
caught.
wild caught, exactly.
If you were in my other class, I would beg to differ.
No, we're not going there. I was
Right
like,
now, you bet.
Cindy.
That's what Borden's Hospital told me.
Oh, yeah, they
Fish is
will.
a good one to eat.
Yeah, they will.
Okay,
Your better
so,
bet, your better
so-
bet is
okay,
flaxseed.
now this is Cindy's deal. She's a shopper.
Well, so are you.
I know.
So what we're asking is that you set yourself up for success in your kitchen. You wanna shop smart, and like Barb said, you wanna shop around the perimeter and make sure that you have colorful foods that are healthy in your pantry. And do it ahead of time. Don't wait until you have to halt. And this is an example. You could have one Danish
There's my donut.
and the same calories as if you had an
Wow.
apple, a banana, an orange, and a half of a cantaloupe.
Wow.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, I mean, you know, these choices make a difference. Beware of the bottles, the bags, and the bars. Now, you know, like Barb said, I'm not perfect. I can get into that, but that needs to be an occasional or just on the side. Make your
Tell her the
plate.
story about the soda and the weight. I told you. Well, okay. So I worked with a nurse and she wasn't obese, but, you know, she was a little chunky. But she drank Coke. She loved Coke. Coke. She would drink during our 12 hours, 2-liter bottles. She
I know, right?
decided to cut them out and she went through withdrawals. She went cold turkey. She didn't try to watch anything else in her diet. She dropped 20 pounds.
Wow.
Mm-hmm,
Yeah. And when you're not carrying that extra weight,
mm-hmm.
your body, your heart, it's all so much happier. And you're getting the oxygen. It doesn't have to go to all the
So soda
extremities.
is, you know, and I like a Coke. Who doesn't like a Coke once in a while or something? But you gotta drink your water, I'm telling you. Yeah.
So the number one source of added sugar in the United States population is, of course, soda pop. And as you guys probably already know all of this, but it's the high fructose corn syrup that's the killer. The sugars and things in the fruits are so good. If you're eating them in the fruit form with all of the fiber in them, that's why we say eat more fruits. But when you start drinking pops or even fruit juices, you gotta be careful not to drink too many fruit juices. But if it's gonna help you get off of cigarettes and juice works for you, do it. We want you to do whatever it takes to get off of the nicotine.
That's right.
We'll work on that other stuff later. In fact, one of my gals, we were talking to, and I can't remember which one. Oh, Jessica, she's not here tonight. She's starting to suck on suckers. She's the, what do you call him?
Oh, I said, well, remember that show?
Yes.
Some Kojak.
Cold, yeah.
You guys are too young. so-
I
And then-
remember that.
And then
Tells my
Don't
age.
Jerry, he's popping Jolly Ranchers. And I'm like, that's okay, that's okay, that's okay. Later, we'll work on a more healthier option. If it's working for you, drink plenty of water. Can we say that enough? If you guys aren't getting it,
Yeah.
we're not doing our job. Move it and lose it. You've got to keep your weight down to a good weight and stack those Z's. Getting your sleep is very important. Can we say any of this anymore, Barb?
No.
And you know, we gave you a journal. Mark in your journals when you're doing something positive. By making new choices in all of these lifestyle areas, you are crushing the urge to smoke one day at a time. This is a journey, remember? This is a journey. It takes time and perseverance to recover lost ground and form healthy habits. And I gotta stop here. By smoking, the longer, the more you who smoked, the more damage that has to be undone in your body. You have depleted your body. Smoking has depleted it of vitamins and minerals, and your immune system is struggling. So you've got to replace that. God will give you guidance. He will give you power. He will give you the determination to stick with it. So I think we kind of
I
already.
think we're gonna
touched
skip that. We talked about.
And
So,
guess what?
yeah, you want me to announce it? So, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to present to you tonight Rick Shoemaker. I know, I should have looked at this before. So, Rick, do I need to move this off of this?
No,
I'm gonna
can you-
give you my microphone.
Can you guys hear me?
No, we're gonna give you
Probably
this.
need the mic.
Yep.
I want you to be like me.
Mine's not getting mic.
Okay, so you
There
can
go.
put this.
It's like Isaac's.
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
It needs to be louder.
you could.
I'm good. Oh,
You
well,
want a
sit
chair?
right
Here, I can turn this off.
Or you wanna sit on my chair?
there. No, I want to sit.
You don't
I'll
wanna
walk.
sit? Okay, you walk.
Let's sit.
No, not that kind of walking.
When Cindy asked me if I would come up and give a testimony, I said that I'm not sure which way to channel my testimony. I have it between smoking, between drugs, habits, and addiction, and she said any of those will work. So hang on.
Okay.
So there's 3 points that I'd like to cover real quick. One is opportunity. The other is God is there to help you through no matter what you're doing and where you're at. And does this thing really work? Like you mentioned, they're already saying, oh, well, how long is this going to last? Does this thing really work? Every one of us here have been given an opportunity. If we haven't been given an opportunity, we wouldn't be here. Who gave us that opportunity to be here, in my opinion, was God.
Amen.
You know, the Holy Spirit worked on every one of you
Right.
because you said, this is the time, you know, that I want to quit. And you can't ignore it, you know, that now is not the time to ignore it. Now could be your last time to take this opportunity. I can relate a couple opportunities that I know that people had had. When I was like 5 years old, I used to tell my grandma all the time, you know, you need to quit smoking because you're going to die of cancer. Unfortunately, my grandma died of cancer when she was 60 years old. When I thought back at that, it's like, man, I really feel bad because, you know, kids would just say anything. God, through me, was giving her an opportunity to be able to hear the words, you know. God will give every one of us an opportunity to do what's best for our bodies and for our health. I smoked along with doing many other things. God gave me the opportunity to quit smoking. I didn't say when I really like smoking, because I enjoy this cough that I have every morning, or that the amount of cigarettes went up to 75 cents. You gotta be kidding me.
I remember
But,
that.
I did want an opportunity to quit, and God gave me an opportunity. His opportunity he gave me was, I lost my job. My mom and dad, who didn't smoke, said, hey, do you want to spend some time in Florida? That was my opportunity. So at that point, I said, I'm quitting because I'm gonna quit while I'm going to Florida, and I'm gonna be walking the beaches. So I had an opportunity. I did not ignore that opportunity. I respected my mom and dad so much that I would not smoke in front of them, so that wasn't an issue. Besides, I wasn't working, I was broke, being broke is probably a good deterrent too, especially at the cost of cigarettes even now. So I took the advantage of that opportunity, that God gave me, and from that point on, I never smoked after that. I came home and I bought a pack of cigarettes and I went to put a cigarette in my mouth. And the person I was with didn't say, you don't want to do that, The person just looked at me and said, do you really want to start smoking again? She was so sincere and I was so impressed on that. Out with the pack of cigarettes and I never started to back up, from that point. The opportunities. Had my grandma taken the opportunity that God gave her, she probably would not have died of cancer. Had my aunt taken the opportunity that people told her she had COPD pretty bad, I watched my aunt die and I seen what COPD did related to cigarette smoke. And I didn't say I'm going to quit. I quit. There's an opportunity to say I quit. Dustin, who we work with, you know him very well. He spent night after night in the Coldwater Hospital watching his dad die. And it wasn't a very fun guy. He was dying of lung cancer. He smoked and he was a chain smoker. When he spent that time, he took the opportunity while he watched his dad die a very painful death. And he said, I quit, So what's the reason for you to quit? What's the reason for you to decide this is going to be my quit day? Because now's the time to start thinking about a quit day and be for real about it. Otherwise this can be an informative social get together. And that's okay too, but if you really want to take this serious, if you want to say, hey, I want to be healthy because I have 3 handsome boys and the youngest one is really a charmer and I have 1 daughter. I wonder who that could be. Then I want them to see me so I can be with my grandkids.
Yes.
I quit. My body is the health, it's the temple of God. I'm going to take the opportunity. God is going to give everyone an opportunity to not to quit. You just say, I quit. Well, things happen in your life that you might fall, often I fall. I still fall, not with drugs, not with tobacco, but, there's other habits, that I fall back into that, why did I want to start drinking Diet Coke again? I was off of that point. Or whatever it may be. I still stumble. I still come to the foot of the cross and I said, God, will you help me? I can give you proof, no matter where your walk is, no matter what you're doing at a particular time, and you feel like you're getting ready to fall, and you're getting ready to struggle, whether it's tobacco, whether it's drugs, whether it's heroin, no matter what it is that you're doing, God will answer your prayer. So there was an opportunity, again, that came upon me. I was with a friend, and this was quite some time ago, and, I gave her some drugs, and I had already done 1 dose of drugs, and I was thinking, well, cool, I think I'm going to do another dose too. So I doubled up on a dose of drugs because I guess guys are just doubly dumb, I don't know. And I hadn't peaked from the first dose, and by the time I took the second dose and I started peaking, I knew that something was wrong. And I was scared, I was on my way out and I knew that I was on my way out. I didn't know what else to do. I just said, I gotta find help. How do you find help? I was off a Dort Highway in Flint by the water tower. There's a side road that goes across the river. No one takes that road because it's dangerous. That's where they drop off all the dead bodies and that's where all the junkies go in that road to do their thing. That's where I was. This is like at 3 o'clock in the morning. And I knew that something was wrong. I was with my friend. I said, I don't know what to do. What can I remember? Even though I was extremely high and I was on my way out, I said, all I can think to do is pray, We knelt down on our knees as weird as it was and as stoned as we was, and we prayed, and God, I really made a dumb move, but I really need your help. I'm on my way out. We're in the middle of the woods. We're in the middle of a road that nobody takes during the daytime, let alone at nighttime. And I said, I just need to go that road, and maybe some reason that I may find someone to help me. The odds were probably pretty slim. I ran as much as I could run. I don't know, I probably stumbled more than I ran. When I hit that road, at 3 o'clock in the morning that nobody travels, the area that I came right on, there was a car pulled to the side. There was a blue car. There was a guy leaning up against the front hood. Everyone knows hippies these days, he had hair down here and a beard or whatever. Now, what are the odds on a road that nobody travels that God is going to have someone stop there, and deliver me?
Yeah.
Now, as weird as it was and as high as I was, I'm going up to my roof for real, yeah, for real. So when he could get out of whatever way that I was trying to communicate the best, that, I had done way too much and I was really, really scared. It was like he already knew that. And he went and he took me and my friend like in a vehicle. And he spent the rest of the time with me, seeing me through, that whatever I would need, today maybe it would be Narcan, whatever it would be that you have done too much. And he spent the whole time, as soon as dawn started coming around, he looked to his friends that he was with, like he was talking to us, and he said, okay, it's time for you to go home. And he went, we got in the car, and we went home, and they just kept asking me what I was doing there. So this is some pretty good stuff. I said, oh yeah, man, it's really good. So you're gonna keep doing it? No. The question in line that God had given me the opportunity to hear is he wanted me to know for sure, I'm never gonna do this again. And I never did again. So, if you find yourself in a weak spot and you're gonna say, I'm gonna light up, And I don't care if you have a cigarette in your mouth, that cigarette's halfway through, and you decide that, God forgive me, give me deliverance from this. I don't care if you decided that you were done with drugs, you went through all the rehabs and stuff like that, and you have that needle in your arm and you're halfway shooting, pray to God, because he will be there. He will deliver you for it, It doesn't matter what the drug is, what the addiction is. And you know what? He still loves you while you are at sin. He didn't say, Rick, as long as you keep doing drugs, I'm not going to help you. Rick, I'm not even going to answer your prayer because you're doing drugs. No, he said, Rick, you're doing drugs, you've done way too much drugs, and I'm going to deliver you in the most unusual way that you're never going to forget.
Amen.
So now that he will deliver you, now that he will give you an opportunity, how long, does this thing really work? Does this program really work? When God is in your life, does it really work? Have you been delivered? Or is it like you said, your friends, right? How long is this going to last? I was working on a job, and some of the people I was working for, they had some money. They decided that they're gonna do a bunch of drugs. I mean, how cooler can it be that the boss that you're working for is gonna bring out some drugs? He brought out the drugs, and I mean, the amount of drugs that he was bringing out, I didn't know, is this like an FBI bust or is this his personal drugs? That's how many that there was. So I'm in their place, if they're bringing this stuff out, and I ain't gonna be around it. So I'm telling these guys that own their house that if you want me to work on your place, you're not gonna do drugs around me because I don't even wanna be around it. And I thought that was pretty cool because the fact that I was in their place and their environment, they said, okay, they went outside, they used their drugs, and then they came back in. Who am I? I'm nobody. God did that for me. He said, well, I want the work done. I want to see that he is not in that environment because he chooses not to be in that environment. We talked about you got to pick your friends, you got to choose your friends because the environment of what you live in is going to be who you become if you make that choice. You have to make a choice not to. What's that? I spoke up to those people. So they went out, they come back, and they're really like, oh man, the guy who was with him told him about me, that, oh yeah, he got all religious and stuff like that, So he comes out, hey dude, I can really, really understand, I got a lot of friends who decided that they was going to do this and they got God in their life, And well, usually this lasts about 1 year, So just tell me, how long has it been for you? I looked him in the face, and at that point, I had been 10 years, and I said, well, you know what? For me, it's been 10 years since I have done anything. I mean, he looked at me, his bottom jaw fell down and said, I guess this is probably really real, isn't it, you know? And it is real. And that was like a long, long time ago, you know, like, so it's been many, many more years past that. So 3 points, opportunity. God will give every one of you an opportunity. Now is not the time to ignore it, because you may not have this opportunity again, you know? So the opportunity that he has given you to decide that you're gonna quit the smoking habit, that you're gonna quit whatever habits you are, you know, he's gonna be there with you, you know. If he can be there while I'm as stoned as I am and I'm on my way out, and he could say, I'm gonna answer your prayer. If you find it a point in your life that I really wanna quit, I wanna quit for my kids, I wanna quit for myself, I don't wanna be out of wind when I'm going up one flight of steps, I don't wanna wake up every morning coughing out a lung, you know. All of those fun things that cigarette smoke gives you. I won't tell you all of the fun things that drugs give you, because that's not what we're talking about today. But habits and addictions, God can see you through. He'll give you the opportunity, he'll give you the opportunity. When you think that you're at the lowest point, if he has to find someone that's gonna pull over to the side of the road, someone that's gonna meet you in the mall, someone that's gonna meet you in the store and say, you know, you look like you need someone to talk to. If that's what he has to do because you don't have an opportunity for a friend, he'll do that. You know, is this thing for real? Is this thing for real? When those people come back up to you and you're gonna say, wow, this is 10 years down the road, yeah. And he's gonna say, yeah, this is for real. Hallelujah, this is for real, because anything that God does is for real. It's gonna last you a lifetime.
Amen.
So those are the 3 points, and I hope that you take it to heart. If you have not set a date for quitting, consider some of the things that I say. If you think you're gonna stumble and fall, if you do stumble and fall, God's with you. You know, in the middle of it, just say, you know, God forgive me, continue to be with me. And I probably won't pass my 5 minutes.
Yeah, that's,
That's
thank you, Rick.
Yes, good job.
Very good. I'm encouraged.
Mm-hmm.
I think Rick was a motivational speaker.
I
I didn't,
Yes.
I didn't know, you talked up like that. Jeez.
Yeah.
Don't give me preaching, I won't stop.
Oh, wow, Rick. Yeah, I'm encouraged.
Yes.
So I think he's challenged you who haven't maybe said it. Oh, good.
Do
We need to be getting our stop dates in our heads. Everything will be coming on
You
here in a
know,
minute.
but what I like what Rick kind of was pushing is, you know, he reached out to God,
Yes.
you know, and, you know, it's not talk about religion, the do's and the don'ts. It's knowing the man.
Mhm.
If you know the man, you know, and go to him, he knows that you're gonna have that relationship, he's gonna be there for you. And God really was there for Rick, and he's there for each of us. He loves each of us, no matter what we have done, you know, so, thank you, Rick, yes.
So we were gonna skip through this. What did you all get out of, what are you inspired? Did Rick, did he give you some thoughts
Mm-hmm.
of what you need to do? Does anybody want to share how it moved them?
I think one point, what I was gonna say is, Rick said, you've been given an opportunity now to quit. Don't lose that, it's coming to you. This opportunity to get rid of this habit. And it is a hard habit, but you're given this opportunity right now. Don't think about doing it later, you know. Go ahead, Dave.
I've seen so many people in my life. I was surrounded by all kinds of addictions. And what's discouraging is when you see nobody doing it and everyone's dying around you. And just listening to this story here, I think, you know, I never got into it, but it would have helped to hear someone like this testimony that we just heard. So we never know what it might mean to someone else, especially a young person. You can feel awfully all alone when you're young, and you guys can become heroes.
Well, like I'm telling Jerry, who isn't here tonight, but he's gonna be up here next year when we do the Stop Smoking. He's gonna be giving his
Are we
testimony.
doing this next year?
Well, that's what I'm telling.
Oh, dear.
Jerry's gonna be up here. Marasala's gonna be up here.
Yes.
Giving their testimonies of how they
Absolutely.
stopped. Tim's gonna be up here telling his story of how he stopped. Janelle's gonna be up here.
Don't cut yourself short,
Giving
Tim.
her story. Ken's gonna be up here. So, yeah, you guys, in another year, this will be behind you. That's why we have that goal sheet. I mean, we're serious. If you think in a year, you will be free. But you've got to start with your steps now. And you've got to start that start date, even if you think, oh, it seems impossible. Hey, if you learn how to swim, sometimes you got to throw the child in, right? And they're splashing around and eventually they learn to swim. You just have to go for it and trust in the Lord. He will help you.
For sure.
Any other thoughts of how you're inspired? Yeah, Laura?
Well, I would just like to say back a little ways when you was talking about taking one day at a time, that is very, very important when you're trying to stop an addiction. Because I went through smoking and alcohol and stuff, and it's the one day at a time is very important.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think next week Laura's giving her testimony. That's an on ya.
Mine might be a little bit more than 5 minutes too.
That's okay. It's good. We need to hear these stories.
If I can,
Yeah, so here's the other question. What did you learn that makes you stronger in your resolve? So Tim, you're back there. I can tell the wheels are turning. What are your thoughts? Are you getting a start date?
No, I decided February 14th.
yes.
Valentine's
Yes.
Day.
Well, that sounds pretty familiar. Ken,
Yeah,
what's your start date?
like you said.
Valentine's, February 14th. You'll be our sweethearts, for sure.
I've been called a lot of things, but that's not one of them.
Say that again, what?
I've been called a lot of things, but sweetheart.
Sweetheart.
Oh, you guys will be our sweethearts, that's for sure.
Not together.
That's for sure.
That's awesome. That is very
I
awesome.
think one thing about when people share their testimonies and, I think it helps others, to feel like you're not alone, I never smoked, I'll be honest. I don't know what it's like. I think my sister and I tried to smoke a corn cob once behind the bar.
A corn cob.
Did that. But, we never smoked. My parents did, but everybody has different opportunities. But I'm not a better person than you guys, that's for sure. It's just a hard habit and it's not a good habit. But, you guys can do it. And these testimonies, they encourage me to maybe think about giving some other things up, for sure.
Absolutely. Well, it's time for us to wrap up. Yes, April.
This may not help you guys at all, but on the 14th in the evening, at a church in Angola, there's a bunch of young people that are doing a passion play. I'm keeping a bunch of those kids in my house. We're gonna do something Saturday and Saturday night, we're gonna do a gymnastic thing. So if you need to be at a place where you can't do it, come along, you'll enjoy it. The passion play, I've heard it several times, it's hard. A bunch of young people from Fording Christian School, my kids go to that school. So it's about a half an hour from here.
We'll have to type up a little thing, April, for next Monday night.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then Saturday night is the gymnastic show, so, if you're gonna have something to do, it's going to be very inspiring and fun. And I know my dad helped a guy one time, and he had some business at the bars, my dad went along with him, so he said, if you're with me, I can't smoke. So Dad just went with him, so.
There you go.
Look, I'll let you go, but look for a place to be on that day,
Mhm.
Good point, yeah, good.
So it's time for us to wrap up, and we're gonna go through our 3 things that we're gonna say out loud together. I hope that you really are doing this at home. I know it sounds the silliest thing, but no.
And you gotta step out of your comfort zone, even for me standing up here, But we gotta get out of that comfortable zone, sitting there in a chair,
Yes.
comfortable.
Are we
You
standing?
gotta get up, come on.
Stand up, we're gonna
Stretch
say,
out.
we're gonna say these 3 things together.
That's
First
right.
is a statement, then a prayer, and then another statement. So,
Get ready.
here we go.
I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me.
Yes, I didn't even have to, yes, right?
That's right.
This stance is a power stance. It's for real, not kidding. So our prayer, dear
Dear
God,
God,
thank you
that by your power and strength,
I am living free. I am living free. Bam, bam. That's right.
And
I love living free.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yes, the more you do it, the more comfortable you are, right?
That's right. I know, because at first, but absolutely.
So I had to just bring this in, just for kicks and giggles, but I told you to get some.
Get your lipstick out, like Sim did. Tim.
Write it on your mirror. I am living free. So you
Just-
remind.
Or just put a sticky note. I've done that before.
It's not as much fun, Barb.
That's right. So we're gonna end up closing with prayer. And
Mhm.
okay. So let's, we're gonna close quick, and we know people have to get to work, and then you can visit, okay? Okay. So we bow our heads. Our kind Heavenly Father, thank you for bringing us here to be with others, to encourage each other, Lord. And through each other, we can encourage each other, but also that you're present to help us. Lord, we can't do anything without your help, even with all these other things, but if we have your help and we do these things with our diet, our exercise, our nutrition, we will succeed. People will succeed and drop those habits.
Yes.
Lord, be with each person here during the week. Give them strength, give them to be able to fight these triggers, and give them a safety of driving home tonight. We ask this in the precious name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen. All right.
Hello, thank you for joining me. This was session number 4. I wasn't able to put that in there,
Thank you all for
but
coming
I will
tonight.
talk to y'all later.
Yes.
Yes, it was not, living free, quit nicotine for good, that's what it's called. But, okay, have a good night, thank you.